I watched a bit of the Grammys that came from last weekend, and I was kind of shocked at what I saw, and I thought to myself, wow, am I becoming an old man? Because I looked at this and I couldn't believe the kind of things they were putting on stage and promoting. Now, I love a great hip hop act, and I love a great singer, and I love a great award show. But the things that I saw, and maybe because I don't live in America anymore, but I was just dumbfounded with the kind of ideas that they were kind of promoting, that they had decided to kind of square and cube and take to the 10th power to go to the next level. And I was like, wow, is this actually happening in America right now? Where it literally looked like if my children were there, they would be hit with a 5th generation information war on their own identities, their own assumptions. And how confusing would that be?
Morality, sexuality.
Yeah, everything just thrown in a blender and turned on high. I almost felt like a joke was being played on me. I almost
Were
felt
you
like,
being trolled?
Yeah, I felt like I was being trolled.
You're being trolled.
I felt like I was being trolled. Like, come on, guys, at least try to be not so obvious what you're doing here, because no one will buy this.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly so over the top that no one would even buy it, let alone kind of see where you're going. But it's like, the classic story of the frog in the pot. It's slowly been turned up. And I just didn't realize that it had gone exponential over the last couple of years. Or I'm getting old.
I mentioned that I have these buddies that are rappers.
Right, yeah.
And one of them is like 3rd generation Hollywood. And he's a young man. He's been on one of these America's Voice or something competition programs that we modeled after what you guys have done, America's Got Talent or whatever, and so he has family cultural awareness of the Hollywood scene. And when I first met him, he would just talk all the time about how demonic Hollywood has become, and the degree to which demonic double-worshipping activities were the norm. And I always thought that sounded a little far-fetched. It's outside of my experience. I don't hang out with those people again. I don't. And then you see a program like that, so I was talking to Kevin Sorbo, who's done multiple movies, very Christian person, notably starred in Hercules and in Andromeda, which was a kind of a Star Trek spin-out kind of thing. Very ethical, and my wife and I know his wife quite well, and saw her last weekend. So I was talking to Kevin and asked him flat out, there's all this talk about Satanism. This is before the Grammys. There's all this talk about Satanism in Hollywood and these behaviors. And I said, Kevin, you're a producer. You've produced multiple films. You've been in the industry for years and years and years. Is this real? Or is this just somebody's crazy talk? His response was guarded. And he said, basically, I've opted out of that world. But it's entirely plausible based on my experience. There's some deep sickness, this celebration of an anti-ethics, a glorification of unethical behavior, abusive behavior, and underneath that. So this has been this 3-year journey I've had into the real world, from the bubble that I was in, has been bizarre, and among those has been traveling in the world of the Bitcoin community from time to time, where I was brought in, I think, as almost like a pet, a shiny object. And some of the docs, I think, have had this experience. And they've wanted to help us, and they talk about blockchain and censorship, because a lot of what we're experiencing, they've experienced. And so they see us as a little bit of a test bed. And in that community, I've encountered these people that seem quite okay with normalizing the cultivation of children for the purpose of extracting blood products that are purported to extend life and to have rejuvenative properties. And they're discussing quite openly that, well, of course it's acceptable to, akin to the organ donor logic, of course it's acceptable if you take these young children from out of their poverty and you give them an education and an improved quality of life, and all you're extracting is a bit of blood now and then. What's wrong with that? They wouldn't have had that kind of a life. They wouldn't have those benefits and advantages, and so long as we're giving them something in return and allowing them to have a better lifestyle than they would have had otherwise, then it should be perfectly acceptable for us to ask for something in return and derive blood products that will extend our lifespan. People will rationalize things they'll rationalize almost any kind of behavior. I mean, when you think about this logic, it's if you have any ethics at all, it's stunning. You have to. I think this is one of the core problems with all of this world in which situational ethics dominate, and there's no core principles, is you can rationalize almost anything. For those of us that come, let's say, from a Judeo-Christian frame of reference in terms of our ethics, when we encounter this bizarre world in which there are no ethical boundaries, anything goes, I think the normal human reaction, certainly my reaction, is disbelief. It can't possibly be that. People can't. The idea that somebody might be interested in a depopulation agenda, not saying that that's what's going on with the jabs, but the idea that that could be going on, that could be an underlying rationale for these bizarre behaviors that we're seeing in terms of climate change practices, energy practices, the farmer land practices happening on the continent, a lot of these things that just make no sense at all and show profound disrespect for humans and for humankind and for property rights and things like that, where everything just becomes based on the utilitarian greatest good for the greatest number. You encounter that and you're just like, no, that's not possible. They couldn't possibly be doing that. I think it creates a weakness, a cognitive bias that can be exploited. And I think we're encountering that. I think there is a cadre of people, and they often are in that spectrum of narcissist, sociopath, psychopath. Again, Jordan Peterson would be able to speak better than this than I, but where they believe anything goes and the ends justify the means, and anything can be justified based on utilitarianism and Malthusianism logic. There's limited resources and we're just in a desperate place and we have to do this. Of course, they've been promoting that. This logic has been promoted now for decades and decades and decades. And yet here we are, this innovative, amazing human species that adapts itself out of almost anything.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone. Also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline. I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up. If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?